Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Babu Speaks. I'm Babu. I'm gonna try to attempt to redo today's show because I don't know, something up with YouTube Live. It just doesn't want to act right sometimes. But I'm back. I'm here. Um, Titled Pure Waters. Um, and we're gonna talk about when you have that one goal and it's not just a goal. It's not just an aspiration. This is something um, that you really uh, you're very adamant about. You're very disciplined. You know what you want. Um, I was speaking for myself personally, like on a relationship level. Years of dealing with situations and weird motherfuckers, and you know, um, people that don't necessarily reciprocate what you want, but you know that you you know what you're not gonna settle for. Um, and for you, it might be that house that you have on your mind. Might be that job that you're trying to get. It might be friendships. It might be status. It could be whatever. It could be anything. But after you get to a certain age and certain point in your life, you know what you want, what you settle for, and what you want. Um, and anything that's not exactly where you're trying to be sometimes can be it can it can be just in the moment type thing, you know. Me personally, I try not to get into situations that will make me, do anything to mess up what I really want. I try to stay away from circumstance situations, and especially if I have a certain particular person that I'm looking at, that's the only person or only one that I'm trying to spend my time with, or that's the only one that I'm trying to get to know. I'm not going to let distractions get in the way of that. Um, well, to that particular journey, if you will. But I wrote a poem, and this poem is kind of deep. It's kind of hits on that. I think I don't really write a lot, usually under inspiration. Um, but I like to read this and then, break it down a little bit afterwards. Uh, and if you haven't guessed, the title is called Pure Waters. I'm gonna read this and then we'll go a little deeper. A man in the desert that has been there for quite some time, overheated and dying of thirst, would do just about anything to quench his thirst. But only the purest of waters can not only quench his thirst, but also save his life. He came across many muddy holes that was not pleasing to drink, but desperately he took the chance. Most of those made matters even worse, so his search continued. Barely hanging on by a thread, he sees in the distance a pond of clean, pure water, glistening from a distance. He knew that he had to make it there at all costs. He passed over many muddied water holes to get to the life saving waters. And in his head, he felt he may die of thirst before reaching it. But after seeing what he really wanted, what he really needed, nothing else would satisfy his thirst. Nothing else would save his life. He did everything in his power and found that pure life saving water and never looked back. After getting the taste, nothing else came close to what he needed the most. And so, you know, it's some jewels and gems in that. Basically, once you know what you want, once you have been through some of the worst situations, but yet working on yourself and working on making sure that you are where you need to be, um, you know that your discipline strengthens, your confidence strengthens, um, your self-respect and self-esteem. So, like, at the end of the day, when you see something that you know, looking in yourself, taking self-assessment, as like, I know what or who was good for me. I know that what I want to take a chance on. And then you know what you don't want to take a chance on. The muddy holes are the situations that can be okay, but not, it's not what you really, really want or who you really want. At the end of the day, as you're traveling through that, not everybody has the self control to keep themselves clean, for lack of a better term, while they search and work on getting um, what it is they really want. And the things that basically kind of boils down to, like, for fellas, if there's a girl you see and you like this particular girl, you like her vibe, y'all talked a couple times, and you know, you y'all like have good energy, you're not gonna pay attention to any other the rest of the girls. You're not gonna pay attention to the girl that's winking at you, because at the end of the day, like, that's not it. Um, and if that girl's giving energy back, or starts to give energy back, you're not gonna nothing else is gonna matter. You're gonna sit here and be disciplined. You're gonna be patient, and you're gonna work to be what not just what you want, but what they want and what they need. Um, because you start being on some whole phase and you start messing around with other girls, that person might not want you no more. And then why would they? Because if you look like you for everybody, then you can't get that one somebody. So you hunker down and you be patient and you try to build. Because when you have something worth having, it takes a little bit of time. It takes some discipline. It takes some structure, putting boundaries down, not just for other people, but for yourself, and making sure that you're put in a position to where you're not complicating and muddying the waters. And then when you get it, that person, like, let's say you get a taste of that person, that's gonna be rewarding, um, for lack of a better term. Because at the end of the day, like, you want to make sure that um, you are free for this person. If they're free, they're single, they're not like complicated. You don't want to complicate things when you're trying to build something with somebody. You imagine, you know, Walmart getting complicated with Costco. That's like, no, I can't do that. So they're not the same, and they don't move the same. They don't have the same um, goals, aspirations, or anything. Like, they're not going to make it. You want to be in a position to where you are at in this point, because you're not in a relationship at that point. You want to keep doing things that build you and make sure that you are where you need to be and strengthen yourself. Make sure that you are, um, because there's a saying. There's a saying. Anybody that awakens feelings in someone without the intent to carry through with that, that's kind of like a malicious act. So, like, seeing someone that you really want to be with, seeing someone that you want to talk to, and then start dealing with others along the way because you can't wait, because you can't be patient. That's not fair or cool to other people. Um, and even though you and the one that you really want to be with are not necessarily in a relationship, you still should be dedicated enough to give that a full try. And when other women or men or whoever it is come at you, you should literally be Bruce Lee, wah, wah, blocking. Hey, look, I got my eyes on such and such. Because a lot of people don't understand that loyalty isn't supposed to start after you confirm being with someone. It should start beforehand because the way you go in is the way that sometimes you can maintain or the way you finish. If this person, you only have eyes for this person, it should show in your actions. You shouldn't have 4 or 5 in rotation and then it's like, well, I'm just waiting on them. No, we want to set that example, especially as kings. We want to set an example. It's like, I'm already taken. I'm taken. I'm good. And then if it doesn't work after you've given 100% effort and energy to try to, make something happen. If it don't happen, then, then you can go be a hoe. But don't be a hoe while trying to find somebody or trying to get somebody. That's not how we do that. It's not how it should be done, I don't think. That's just my opinion. If yours might be different, who knows? But, you know, be the best you can be the best representation you can be because your actions and the way you move, that's your, you know, that's your resume. That is your, that's you putting your application out there. Like, I ain't messing with nobody. I'm not in a situationship. I'm not tangled up. Let's get to know each other. No drama. No, everything is drama free, and everything can move a lot smoother when you don't have, when you don't bring that muddy water with you. You stay away from the muddy holes. Because a real man and a real woman, when they see what they want, nothing else matters. Nothing else can get in the way of that. And if you have the universe moving with you, then you can be more blessed. And when blessings are coming, that means you're doing things right. That means you're moving in a good way. Uh, and outside of that, is at least, even if it doesn't work, you gave it a good try, and you gave it, a chance. Not everything is going to be for you. And if it's not for you, trust me, you'll know. But if it's for you, you'll see things, little signs, little glimpse of things that to make things move in a way that should give you encouragement as you're moving along that journey. You know, Especially if it may not be a relationship. It may be about getting a house. You know, you got the job, you got the time on the job, your taxes are done, everything is in position, your savings done, and then you set out to start looking for that house and start getting that emotion, and then you see things, kind of come together. Like sometimes things come together just at the right time, because a lot of times our blessing isn't when we want it. Sometimes it's just the time for it, and we can't really put a time on when God says something's about to happen. You just have to be steadfast and hold tight until it does. And then when it does, you can reap the benefits and the rewards from that. Um, in today's world, the social media messes up a lot of things. The access that's there, the access that's granted, can mess things up. The way people project and make things look so much better than in real life. Like, I'm glad that I don't have to be like looking crazy at half the stuff I see on the internet, and I know that a lot of that stuff is, projected. It's projections. People project who they want to be sometimes. You rarely see people actually be themselves and be true and be real when it comes to the internet. Um, but at the end of the day, we have to try to not let that distract us because Yeah, I mean, you can always find someone that looks prettier, someone that's, better, someone's easier. But when you really want something, you don't want easy. You just want it to be right. And the more you work on you and making sure that you are right and that you are worthy of someone's time to be valued, to be appreciated, to be understood, if nothing else will matter. Like you could have the prettiest girl in the world walk past you, and you'd be like, "Who? What? What? Yeah, nah, it won't matter because just because that grass looks green, you don't know what her problem is. You know what her trauma bond is. You don't know what her habits and so forth is. You don't know nothing. And the same with a man. You don't know if he likes to help around in the house, if he's just gonna have you doing this and doing that, if he's controlling, if he's weird, if he's funny, if he's fun to be around with, you don't know. Like, so if you got somebody you vibe and you really loving that vibe and you enjoying that, I got the connection and chemistry and everything's going good. Why mess that up just to go jump in a vehicle that probably ain't got no good tires on? You probably won't even make it 2 miles. You know, you wanna if you got something good, even if it has a little scratch on it, you know, the saying, "I love you, flaws and all." That's real. Like you're not gonna get perfection in this world. You're gonna get a lot of mirages and muddy waters that, because muddy water when it settles and it's not moving no more, that water falls, the dirt falls to the bottom. But as soon as you stir that up, and it might take a second to get it stirred up, that mud comes back to the top, and then you see what you're really working with. So if you see something that looks seemingly pure and that's clean, it ain't muddy, just because it has a bug in it or frog in it, don't mean that it's still not worth perfect loyalty and perfect effort. Because those things you can give with perfection. You can give your best, 100% perfect effort. You can't expect everything to come out perfectly, but if you really go in it in a way that can make it successful, then why not do that? Because even if you go up on the other side, that grass still got to get watered, and you don't know what it takes to water that grass. That part, like you never know. Sometimes, like a box of chocolates, you open it up, you see all these beautiful little chocolates. You might not like all that chocolate. And same thing about women. Like they look so good and so beautiful, and so pretty. But at the end of the day, yeah, you can get your DMs to fill up just like that. You can get motherfuckers to come at you like flies. But if you got flies coming at you, you don't want no fly. You want you want a dragonfly maybe, or beautiful moth. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I think it's harder on the woman because they have to weed through all that men, narcissists, misogynists, womanizers, all that come with their best foot forward. They do every time. They come with their best foot forward, and it may not be months down the line. Depends on how long you can keep that farce up. But somebody that's real, somebody that's like about something that's better than what's going on, and trying to, the ones that are really not about manipulating, they gonna stay that way. They're not gonna switch up. They're not gonna change. But you got to be able to know how to maneuver through those waters and through that smoke that they put out to be able to pull out the realness so they can show you who they really are. You know, it's not the easiest thing to do. It's a dangerous game trying to figure out people nowadays because they got so many ways of trying to hide who they really are until they don't have to. So be careful, how fast you fall and how fast you move, because sometimes you can move too fast, move right into a trap, right into a snare. So you just gotta be careful. Um, but when you find what you're looking for and you get it, hold on tight, give it a fight. Don't, because if it's really worth it, it's gonna test you. I think so. I mean, that's what I think. I think that the things that are really worth it, it's gonna test to see what type of person you are, what type weight that you can hold up, and can you really, you know, is it if you really feel you deserve it, then you're gonna do your best to try to hold on to it. And if a person is not showing you in no way, form, or fashion that they're really trying to hold on to you back, and it's just something that you have to assess and a sign that you have to move on to like um to see how much you can take. Sometimes it's about seeing how much you can take. But if they're really worth it, take that shit. Take that shit. And I don't know what to tell you, but you know, give yourself a chance. If someone that is really good for you and you can see they're good for you, even though you're scared, we all get scared. I get scared. Women get scared. They've been through this, been through that. They don't know if the man's gonna switch up. You don't know if they're gonna switch up. And if they're super beautiful from the outside, aesthetically pleasing, does she like attention? Does she like to be like, up in niggas' faces and shit? So like, you just gotta be careful, you know, and you gotta try to like let people be themselves. Um, take that test, see how that test does, and let it be what it be. You feel me? Um, but at the end of the day, don't fall for the distractions and the traps. Keep yourself clean for that person, and and if you got the right one, you'll know it. They're gonna let you know. They're gonna let you know, and you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel valued. You're gonna feel appreciated. You're gonna feel special. So um, let's try to one foot in front of the other. One plus one equals two. Um, I hope everybody finds success. I hope everybody finds their person. You know, I'm working on finding mine. I'm working on getting it. I'm working on doing what I'm supposed to do and being who I'm supposed to be, and taking care of myself to make sure that I'm a worthy choice. You know, I always say men choose when approve. Women approve. You might choose, but she has to approve your choice. So, you know. But that's it. And it's just Saturday night. Hope everybody stay safe. It's holiday weekend. Them folks ain't playing out there. So, drive like you got some sense. Act like you got some sense. Um, have fun, but be safe. And I appreciate y'all coming and joining in. I said this last night, but I don't think that full episode got captured. Um, it live be acting up sometimes. I am giving away podcast kits. So anybody that's interested in starting a podcast or being a podcaster or doing anything on that level, I have full kits, mic, arms, mic stand, holder, whatever you want to call it, sound card that you can connect to your laptops. Laptops sold separately. But, 300, $400, podcasting kit. It's no small feat, and I don't want nothing for it. I just want you to to use it, learn, do your thing, and be good with it. At the end of the day, even if you may already have equipment and then you want some answers, you want to ask questions, you can hit me in the comments. Um, if you want a podcast kit, put in the comment, kit me up, KIT me up, and I have a couple. I probably have like two or three of them. So if you're interested, DM me, message. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about the Bad Brew Show. We're coming with some guests. We're gonna have some returning guests. We're gonna get this jump rocking. Um, 6 away from the end of season 2. 6 episodes away from the end of season 2, which I think is, you know, um, that's an accomplishment that I'm proud of. Season 1 was definitely trial and error. Season 2 still somewhat trial and error because this camera literally just does what it wants sometimes. Sometimes it catches the whole show, sometimes that. But um, I'm going to start up. I'm gonna start recording when I have guests. If I don't really get the live down pat, because that way then I know if it actually caught the whole show or not. And some shows I just want to make sure that especially if it was a good show, banging show, and have fun with it. To sit here and have 40 minutes out of an hour and not take that would be disappointing. So, But podcast kits to give away. If you're interested, shoot a comment, DM, um, and then we'll get that to you. Uh, if you have questions, I'm not an expert, but I can just give you knowledge and wisdom on what I've learned so far. Definitely glad that I got the mixing board because that really helps with the sound. The sound is literally not my problem no more. I don't stress on the sound no more. I think it sounds pretty good, but it's the live taking and recording 100%. So yeah, but teamwork made the dream work. Hey, look, go out there and have a good weekend. Be safe. Don't give the police a hard time because they really out there just ready to do whatever they want to do. So like we're gonna not try to fuck with them this weekend. Um, and until then, this is Babu, and Babu has spoken.